Hey, it's Andrew. So I want to show you how to make French press coffee today. I'm going to just walk through kind of what you need to do that. First off, obviously coffee. This isn't anything special, but this is just Cameron's French press or French roast coffee. Got it from Hannaford. It's whole beans, pretty simple. But that's coffee. Obviously a coffee scoop, that's right here. And then you need a kettle to boil it in. For this kind of French press method, you don't really need anything special, just any kettle that boils water will do. You'll essentially boil the water and then just pour it straight into the French press maker. Then you need, at least with whole beans, something to grind the coffee maker. I've gone over this before, but this is the Zassenhaus Santiago coffee grinder, or coffee grinder. It's pretty straightforward, just hand crank. You pour it in at the top here, and then it pops out at the bottom. So this, I'm going to kind of, for this setting, I'm going to set it all the way down to the coarsest version of grinding, because that's typically what you want for French press. So the coffee grinder you need. And then lastly, you need some sort of French press. There's a wide variety of styles, brands, companies, stuff like that. This is the Bodum French press maker. I think we got this at Target. It's pretty straightforward. There's just this press mechanism at the top. You pour the coffee in there, and then once it's completely brewed, then you kind of set it up like this and press down. Okay. So what I'll do is step through all the steps of making the coffee, and then we'll show you how it's done. So the first step is obviously fill the kettle with water. It doesn't matter the amount of water for this instance because you'll be pouring directly into the French press. So just throw water on the stove and then get it to a boiling temperature. And then in the meantime, what you'll do is just grind the coffee while the water's heating up. As the water's boiling, you'll essentially grind the coffee. So this is Cameron's organic French press coffee from Hannaford. Relatively cheap, but it smells pretty good. What you'll do is just pour the coffee directly into your grinder. For this French press is about 5 cups, so you do about 5 to 6 scoops. Which is usually about an entire thing for this grinder. And then you set it down to the lowest setting on the Zassenhaus grinder, and then we'll just grind it. And that's that, and then I'm going to do an extra basic scoop and a half. That's just personal taste. So that's all the coffee ground. I'll show you it in the camera as far as how coarse it is. Just make sure it focuses on this. So that's what it looks like. All right, and then what you'll do is essentially pour it straight into the French press. A lot of times this gets some coffee stuck in it, and we'll pour that as well. Alright, and then once the water boils, we'll just pour the water in here. Okay, so after the water boils, you want to wait about 30 seconds to reduce the temperature down about 10 to 15 degrees. And then what you'll do is just pour the water in just to soak it a little bit initially. The nice thing about this kettle is it's made for pour over, so you can control where this goes. And then just essentially soak the beans and let it sit for a little bit. Alright. So it'll start kind of wetting the beans and getting them kind of primed, I would say, for brewing. And then after about 20 to 30 seconds, pour the rest of this in and just pour it evenly. It's nothing too special for this, just making sure that you're kind of stirring and getting everything wet. Alright, and then you just pour it all the way to the top. This is why the amount of water doesn't matter as much when you're kind of putting it on, because this is a certain amount. So that's all the way filled to the top. And then while this is sitting here, what I do is I just throw this on just to minimize how much heat is extracted. I don't push it down, but it's just to kind of get it so that the heat's confined there. All right. And then as far as length of time, I set this to sit for about 6 to 8 minutes, depending on how much. And then at the end of this, I'll show you what you do. So we'll wait 6 minutes. Okay, so now the timer's off for 6 minutes. Right. What you'll do is take off this lid here, right? And then what you first want to do is actually scoop out all the grinds from the top and get rid of them. The reason why you want to do this is because if you at least leave the coffee in the bottom of it, it'll overbrew and the coffee will become bitter. So if you leave it in a French press, that'll be what happens. So essentially I took out all the top grinds. All right. Everything else is kind of at the bottom. And then you put the lid back on for the French press. All right. And then all you have to do is smoothly just keep the lid on, but smoothly press down in a slow, kind of controlled fashion. It's nothing too complicated. And then from here, all the grinds are at the bottom now. So you just pour it into whichever container you use. And this is my cups, the Yeti 14-ounce mugs. I really like these mugs a lot. They'll keep things warm. So the nice part is once you pour it out of the French press, it'll keep it warm. So we'll just pour it in. So that's one. That's two, and there's a little bit left, so I'll get another cup or something to put it in. But that's really everything for French press. It's not too complicated. The nice part about French press compared to other methods is with the beans, at least without a filter, you will get more lipids or from the beans and the flavor from it into your coffee. Additionally, it's really good for like cold brew if you want to pursue that option. But it's a straightforward method, and it's not too complicated as far as what you need. So I hope that helps you out as far as if you've never done French press or you're looking into getting into it. Please leave any questions or comments below. I'd be happy to answer them. And please subscribe to my channel and continue watching. I really appreciate it a lot. Have a great day. Bye.